Click the links, join channel here over at SubScribestar, now over at Odyssey. So former Marvel comic artist John Malin alleges C2E2 convention canceled him, Shane Davis, EVS over nebulous offensive comments. Yeah, I would have thought this kind of would have been on the way out because Comicsgate's been around for a while now. It's pretty well firmly established, and they're not a cult that's, having people drink Kool-Aid in South America. So Comicsgate banned by globalist worms. And I've been following Comicsgate since before it was Comicsgate. I think in 2015 I got on board watching these videos. So keep in mind, this is about normal people making comic books and using YouTube to sell them. That's it. And the left wing describes them as if they're going out and, machine gunning BLT people in the streets. The mainstream left wing makes comics for their crowd. Fair enough. That's DC, Marvel, Image, Dark Knight, whatever. CG makes comics for their crowd, and it's, like a fraction of a percentage of the industry. So keep this in mind, though. Why was the left outraged and obsessed with a small group of independent artists on YouTube? That they really hate. They hated Meyer for a while, and then EVS took over, and they hated him. And you go, nobody's forcing you to watch YouTube or follow Twitter. You can just block all those channels. Instead, they go in the other direction. They screen record the live streams, which can be anywhere from 3 hours to all night long. There's live streams that go like 9 hours or something bizarre. I don't know how they do that. So why were they so obsessed is the issue. And if you're around here since the beginning, you remember some of them were making threats of violence and sending people. Robbie Rodriguez, I think, was sending naked pictures of himself to EVS. I think it was an offering. So the left-wing views making fun of and rejecting their comics as a triggering event because it rightly rejects globalist propaganda. But why do they care? Why are they this upset? To the point that they've lost their minds over it since 2016. I don't remember when Jawbreakers got sold, and you can say like a year before that. I don't know when you want to say the start of CG was, but it's been going on several years now. Why did they lose their minds over Richard Meyer, who sat in his car with a comic book, laughing and holding the camera, laughing at stupid comics with a very small YouTube channel that was in part blown up because of these insane people on Twitter who brought attention to it? It's like, thanks. I mean, congratulations. I'm sure Myers is grateful to them for that. Part of it is the left has a high percentage of mentally ill people in it, and there's studies that come out and show that all the time, where they have more things wrong with them, and they're just generally miserable people. They have outgroup preference too, which is really weird, and I did videos on that on Odyssey and SubScribestar. Oh, if you're SJW, please turn off the video and unsubscribe, because this is definitely the wrong channel for you. Because, I mean, nothing because I didn't do anything, because you're just a total bleeding pussy. So, canceled for what is the interesting point for this C2E2. What are these Comicsgate people accused of doing? What did they say? Like, they gave the list of terms of service or something, but they didn't actually say anything specific. What happened was they were set to go to a convention and sign some books and take some drugs and bang some whores, whatever it is people do at conventions. Sounds like a lot of fun. The convention canceled them, but didn't give them a reason. Comicsgate, in case you need the background, is a small, loose network of independent artists who sell mostly using YouTube. They're branching out to Rumble and Odyssey now, which is good to see. They have, because, one day you might not always be on YouTube, and it's nice to have those. It would be cool if people en masse move to dual streaming, or try streaming on Odyssey, Rumble, and YouTube. Just live stream on all the platforms at once. I guarantee you'll pick up an audience over on Odyssey and Rumble. The thing is, I don't watch almost no YouTube, because if I'm already on Odyssey, it's already in the background. I'm less likely to leave the platform to go to YouTube, and I just don't like YouTube. The feeling, as I make this for YouTube, but it's such a evil group of people. Google do evil. That when stuff's on Rumble and Odyssey, I'll catch the live streams over there. Anyway, so they're people are using these YouTube channels to sell, where they've got pop culture entertainment channels where they drink beer and eat fried chicken at midnight. I remember when he did that, because it was a couple years, it was like 5 years ago, where EVS turned off the camera to eat a plate of fried chicken. And if you're young, you probably don't understand why that's a big deal, but because when you're over 30, you don't eat at night unless you want to be a land whale. Anyway, there's the, which he was at the time. There's the mainstream comics, which is a collection of soy boy pussies and whiny women who are making truly horrible comics about the patriarchy and about Islamophobicism. Except it only goes one way. It's never, oh my gosh, what about the marginalized and oppressed Christians or European people? Oh, we're gonna make them the bad guys. Wait, you're gonna make the blonde hair, blue eyed people the antagonists in every single comic? Why not tell the story from the other perspective? It's like, well, because we're Bolsheviks. Oh, there's a Captain America comic about how he has to fight. The real problem in America is he has to go fight like peaceful blonde people in Idaho or growing potatoes and have militias or something and not hurting anyone and not like Chicago gangs. And I think there wasn't like a Jordan Peterson one with Red Skull had become, I don't know, what do you call like a Peterson type of influencer sort of thing, and they're drawing a metaphor between the two of them. I mean, just like cringy levels of left wingers who think they're, oh, this'll show the Chads. No, it's cringe, and it's like Captain America. It's tied into these billion-dollar movies, and the comic is probably not selling almost anything. Oh, and just saying all that stuff is like that's enough to trigger these cat ladies and pussies, because their worldview is Frankfurt School Bolshevism. Superman needs to fight the Klan. Oh, like in Chicago? Is that what you're calling like the gangs over there? No. We're talking about like a dozen guys in sheets who drink beer in the backyard. Oh, I mean, that's not really, they don't really do anything? You'd think you'd actually stop something real? No, we're not going to do that. That's seen an airplane, if you ever saw that. I don't know, it was in the 80s, where the security guards, they're going through the gates, they're stopping little old ladies and letting everyone else go through. I'd love to see them remake Airplane now. Is it Zemeckis or Zuckerberg or something? Anyway, in their worldview, everything bad is capitalism, and they live in Moses Levy's world and Engels and Lenin's of psychologically manipulative language of oppressor and oppressed. None of it is real. It's similar to Scientology and other cults in how they manipulate people. The comics were, hey, left wingers, if you're listening to this, you know you're in a cult when the other members of your cult don't want you to speak to outsiders. Then you know you're in something dangerous and you need to get out. So the comics were so bad that this Comicsgate gang decided to make their own comics. Myers, Jawbreakers, and what did Ibe Canales do? Iron Sights, which was like one of my favorite comics. Iron Sights is absolutely fantastic. So you would think the left-wing kids would be supportive of small businessmen who are going out on their own. Except there's this toxic alt-left pop culture gang of anti-white pussies on Twitter who are in the same political alignment as Disney, the raging for the machine, and the rest of these pop culture companies and the big banks and every major corporation. It's like trans day of visibility. There's actually like 140 BLT days during the course of the year. So so no Easter at the White House, no Christian symbols at the White House, but you're going to have a rainbow flag. Or it's not quite a rainbow flag, which is kind of interesting symbolism, because rainbow is Roy G. Biv, the 7. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. But the Moloch flag is missing a color, so it's a 6. 6 cattle, 6 colors, not the 7 colors. Anyway, so they hated Comicsgate because they were making comics for the wrong reason, because they didn't want to race swap everyone and make every story a lecture on how much people were just putting things up their butts or whatever it is the left-wing kids are doing today. So the mainstream comics in Hollywood is the far left. They're pushing globalist propaganda. And if these soy boys like it, great. Enjoy your furry otherkin trans women. But it's all just AIDS and monkeypox to normal people. So Comicsgate started making their own comics without all that kind of, bullshit cancer. And one would think everyone would be happy and one would be wrong. The left is outraged when you reject their propaganda. It's sort of the communist thing where they can't leave you alone. We're simply disagreeing with them. We have different values. We're not globalist vermin parasites. We're mostly, I don't know what you want to call the Comicsgate movement, vaguely right of center, more right of center than not. Some are tribalist, nationalist, identitarians. Most are just kind of middle of the bell curve. They look at this SJW stuff where everything's a lecture on some topical soup du jour, and it's always going to be European man bad, especially northern western, like the German English man is always going to be the archetype of evil. Blonde hair, blue eyes, blonde or red hair, blue eyes, or green eyes. You can go through. I mean, I wish I had like a setup to go through and do a study, take a month, and take hundreds of comics and do like a 3-hour video showing you just this constant correlation between. It is just that simple, the hair color, and it's like, don't you have a YouTube channel to do that? Yeah, that would take a lot of work. And the thing is, with a small channel, there's no payoff for it, so you can't really do this kind of things. Anyway, keep in mind this is all relative, because the mainstream media comic people and their mentally ill Twitter followers are actual communists. So in their mind, if you're a nationalist or just not a communist, which in their mind means literally Hugo Boss, in their worldview, their great-grandfathers would also be fascists. Kids, it's okay to be a fascist. It doesn't mean what you think it means. Globalism is how you destroy a nation and its people, and this is just one facet of the crystal. Comics and Hollywood and video games now. Video games are getting the globalist treatment. No, we need localizers. No, you really, I hope they destroy video games. I hope they make everything, turn to taste of ashes in your mouth, so these kids finally awaken and get out of the matrix. So you go, oh, we don't have any respite to any way to like go into the bread and circuses distractions of movies, comics, video games, whatever. It's like it's all just propaganda all the time. Good, it's time to put all that stuff down and actually see the world as it is. And in the case of Comicsgate, make your own thing. Whatever it is, make your own stuff, and you're going to find like-minded people who are also in agreement with you. And yeah, true, you're not going to be making $250 million movies, but there are smaller scale projects that you can be doing to make something creative, because that's how bad things really are. It's like it's a better use of your time to write and create something as opposed to passively just playing video games for an hour, or social media or Twitter. Social media or movies or whatever is in the mainstream is all toxic cancer. That's a far right-wing dog whistle. There was one time when the left wing would be, oh yeah, mainstream. Oh yeah, that's all propaganda. What happened to the left wing? Well, you got subverted and corrupted, because now the left wing and the mainstream are also saying the same things. It's like, yeah, I know the Rage for the Machine joke. It's been done to death, but you look at them like, oh yeah, but they're really doing it. They're really like marching, sponsored by a BLT march, trans march, sponsored by Bank of America. Oh, that's, and Google and Facebook. Oh, that's kind of where, and the WEF with Klaus Schwab. Oh, that's, so you're the left wing, sponsored by like Soros and Rothschilds, and yeah, that's. So you're sponsored by the billionaires who are saying that you're going to eat the rich. So, okay, you're sponsored by these billionaires, these $1 trillion investment funds. So if there's going to be a useful idiot in the room, you're sitting down at the poker table and you don't see anyone worse than you. It's like, oh, well, then you got to get up and leave because you're the worst player. So you really think like these $1 billion institutions who are funding these far left-wing groups, and you're saying, yeah, we're going to eat the rich. So you think they're funding you to take their power away? Or is there something wrong in your equation? Have you just not quite figured something out? Like, are you the players? Are you the puppets? Or are you the puppet masters? Anyway, they just can't leave Comicsgate alone. And Comicsgate, gamers most oppressed. Comicsgate is most oppressed, to the point where they're getting kicked out of a convention for what exactly? Oh, well, they were going to start a cult and pass out these cyanide flavored Kool-Aid. Okay, well, no, that's ridiculous. What were they really doing? Oh, they're on YouTube where they talk about comics and pop culture, and they didn't like Star Wars, and that's like a far right-wing dog whistle? Really? Yeah, because we're totally crazy. Oh, okay. So who's these people? Shane Davis, Malin, and EVS, and a bunch of others. There's probably anyone associated with CG, and there's creators. There's probably 100 creators associated with CG, and they can't have a table. Here's the thing: that table would be the funnest table at that convention, not because they're well-known celebrities, because YouTube is not. It's like they're not. They're comic book people ultimately. They're not going to be as well-known as like an actor who's signing stuff, but they would be the funnest group out there because it's fun to not be politically correct. And the left-wing kids today, like, God, there's just a sorry, sad sack of whiny pussies. Just, oh, no. We have to call them chuds because we can't come up with any good insults. Obviously insults I can't use on YouTube. So you're calling the cops are bastards? Why don't you call them F slurs? Oh, because that's like that's half of our group here is the marginalized and oppressed and disenfranchised. And you guys talk like slurs, and your S is all slurry. It's like Idiocracy. The scene in Idiocracy. What a great movie that was. And you look at these left-wing kids, and like, how did you get to be such pussies? It's the participation trophy generation, but it's iterations of that. It's generation upon generation of just these people becoming what you see now. Left-wing kids today is like the Antifa kid is just the scrawny, hasn't seen sunlight. Touch grass, my guy. And you look at their Twitter history, and it's like, you've tweeted 122 times today, my friend. One of us is I just got out of my garden checking up on the potatoes that are rising to the surface. Anyway, they get sunburned and they get that green poison, which you still use them as seed potatoes, I suppose, but you can't eat them. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys all next episode.